Group CEO of ML Global. We are the leading payment, especially for game in the emerging market. Besides Southeast Asia, we also cover Middle East, MENA region, Middle East and North Africa, and also Latin America as well. Thank you.
My name is Karol Malik. I work for a company called Azeta Digital. It is a subsidiary of Azeta Group, and the company does that we want to move our group into a digital world, digital business. And we got the many areas of the financial fintech area, into advertising, and the one area that we're moving into is the area of API. Basically, we developed an API hub, which we manage APIs for our group. And what I'm in charge of is of that hub. And this hub is enabled any company for them to be able to do carrier billing from wherever they are in the world. So instead of trying to connect to all the operators, basically what we provide is a facility for a publisher or a distributor to able to do payments direct with all our operators in the group, about right now 7 countries.
Very good afternoon. I'm Johnson from Elite Mobile Global. I'm the CEO of Elite Mobile Global. So our company does a lot of different business, including exhibitions, content, about SMS, payment gateway, and as well in game publishing. So, of course, in game publishing is one of the major things now here in Level Up, and we are hope to share some of our insight with everyone here. So, but after the previous speakers, I think some people have left. So, but it's okay. I mean, the crowd here, you all will benefit from the rest of the speakers who really share their insight and how you're able to monetize your game, through a different channel and so on. And of course, not to forget, Joe was also with the same association with me, which is Malaysia mobile content provider. We're always doing content. The games are one of them. And Joe is our honorary advisor, and I'm the present president for MMCP for this mission.
Thank you, Johnson. So, we've seen a lot of mobile games, events, conference pop up all over the world. We're seeing a lot of, in Singapore, Casual Connect, GMGC in China, and a lot of developers now, especially the younger generation, Gen Y, they're coming to these conferences to look at, hey, how can I monetize from my game? Either it's based from passion or something that they want to pursue, brings out some entrepreneurship in them in getting this done. So in Malaysia itself, when we talk about games 10 years ago, it was all online and MMORPG, and only the past few years we've seen a lot of mobile adoption. So Preecha, being from this space, we saw before how MOL took, I think it was Friendster back then in those days, turned it into a mobile game portal, and today now you're seeing a lot of mobile games being played on mobile itself. So how has this changed over the years from an online games industry to now having a big chunk of it coming from mobile gamers?
Okay, let me correct first. Actually, Friendster, we didn't launch the mobile game platform. We launched a web game platform, but we didn't do it anymore because right now mobile games seems to be more popular in this space. Previously, you can see most of the game that launch in the market out there because of the power of a PC computer is way better than mobile in the early days. That's why it's very difficult for mobile game developer to create a great game. So I'm talking about like the age of Symbian. If you're growing up and you know that there are a few different mobile OS platform out there. So people love PC game because experience they have with PC is a lot better. And when they compare, they would compare PC game with console, not mobile. Mobile is not even close to compare. In these two areas, PC has more penetration because the computer have more penetration in the global market. But once the mobile phone become a smartphone. So with the capability of the phone, memory, and everything, it turned mobile game to be more popular because people can create a great game into a mobile platform. And since then, it become like turning point, as well as when people coming up with a mobile game platform, they have two different major platforms like iOS and Android. So both of the global platform coming up with the ecosystem to help all the game monetize and as well as content discovery. So it make the whole value chain alive. And that's how it's started and needed the big change in the gaming industry. At one point, I cannot say that it completely changed because some of the PC game player, they still play mobile game. And at the same time, mobile game player also play PC game. There are certain people that overlap in this space. So, but to my knowledge, I guess the happening of the beginning of mobile games is also complement the PC game because you can create something, to let people enjoy playing game from PC at home, and then when they go outside, they can go to play game on mobile. I wish one day it could happen that way. Even today, it's separate. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to ask this question to Karim. Being from an online game ecosystem now, you're seeing a lot of take up into the mobile game industry with adoption of smartphones. So, Axiata being a major player with about 10 now or 12 telcos around the region.
That many.
So,
8 at the moment.
I'm sure a lot of game developers are reaching out to the mobile operators, looking at, hey, how can I monetize this through alternative channels? We heard about operator billing. So, could you give some insights of what Axiata is currently doing with that?
Yeah, what we're trying to do as a group is trying to help. We have a platform which help developers for them to actually publish their games online and be able to charge mobile customers in order to use or play the game. End of the day, we are not actually. In the past, the telco actually went into games portal. They built a games portal in the sense that they have a walled garden, and the only way you can buy the games is only you part on the games that the operator sells, and the only way you can deduct from your mobile phone. But things have changed these days. In other words, most of mobile operators actually have moved away from the portal and just supporting whatever is out there. For instance, if you take the whole of Southeast Asia, every country and every operator in whole of Southeast Asia, now you can actually pay for your Google Play using a mobile phone. The strange thing is that it doesn't work for iTunes. iTunes basically is only Malaysia and Singapore. Only Malaysia and Singapore is able to actually use your mobile phone and make payment for it. But that's the games is on the mobile phone. What about games is not on the phone? Before that, the only two ways you can actually pay for the mobile game, pay for games in general. Either you have a credit card or you use the gift cards. You have the scratch cards. There's no other way. Mobile phone is what is now opening up we call carrier billing. We can charge to it. So we're trying to, the biggest distributors, I call them, are iTunes and Google. What about the other, games? We also sell, Steam wallets. You can buy using your mobile phone. So we try to find ways to which we try to reach what we call the unbanked. People who basically don't have a bank account, okay, and they want to make payments online. And the most convenient way is using their mobile phone. So operators, not just Malaysia or Axiata, worldwide, are trying to find ways to make it easier for people to pay for games. And we're trying to reach out to the publishers directly, we're trying to reach out to other distributors in order for you to simply say, okay, you make payment, or there's a choice. No, I can make. So we are actually trying to make it easier for people to earn money basically. The developers is a bit of a tricky situation because those are individuals, we're not the game publishers. So right now we're talking to publishers, developers, people who develop the games. They still have to talk to the publishers and publish, and because we deal with it's hard to deal with individuals at the moment because
okay. So Johnson, I think that is a bit on your reel. You're publishing mobile games, and a lot of the most popular question I get asked during these sort of events is, what sort of games sells in Southeast Asia? What sort of games should I develop? What would people pay for? Could you share a bit about, what sort of games you normally look at or play around here in this region?
Okay, on this region, as a publisher, I think MOL is a very strong publisher as well. We also connect to different telcos in Southeast Asia. We are doing quite well in Southeast Asia, like in Axiata. We are doing very well in Celcom with our direct carrier billing. And for games in South Asia, actually casual games and strategy games are, is quite well received. But one of the things that I think as a publisher, this is very important for individual games developers. You see, if you want to connect directly to telcos, maybe it's difficult, so you have to go to publisher. But there's a lot of different platforms that you can go into it. You can go to MOL, you can go to Google, iTunes, or any platforms that you can go to. But one of the main things as the publishers is how are we able to assist game developers to, promote your games. I think these are the keywords. You see, you can connect into different onboarding into different platforms, but how the publishers are able to work with you very closely and promote your games, and this is the way that how are you able to monetize them. But as a publisher also, I think we are facing a challenge, that there are so many games, who do we select to go and really throw in money and help you all to promote and, to push your game into different platforms. So therefore, this part will have to depend on the developers of how are they able to, to make their games interesting to the user.
Okay.
Let me add something to that. We look at the way that people actually buy stuff, how they use our what do you call it, Google Play in terms of what people buy. It's less than maybe 40 or 50 titles on it. That's all. The one that makes the more money is less than 100. Okay, the rest of the other games are like the tens of thousands are there. And nobody looks at it. So it's gonna be hard if you're gonna use. I think what the point is about putting it in front. Your game should be good. People really want it. And then you get the money, but in terms of the competition, there's only 40 or 50 titles that really makes money. The rest are actually struggling in order to get somebody to actually buy the stuff that they're selling.
I think we share the same view. When I talk to a lot of people from the industry, last year was difficult, but this year they say it's impossible, right? And so the question is, why are we still developing games, and what are the right games that can actually gain success? Earlier on, Preecha, you were sharing to me about these games that were working in markets like Thailand and Vietnam. We look at the global statistics, but then we see a lot of discrepancy. The markets in most of the emerging countries here in Southeast Asia, you get a lot of people who actually want to pay for your game. So Preecha, in this market, that you're from Thailand, and you're seeing a lot of big build-up of game community there, people who actually have the cash and wants to pay that. Based on your experience, how do you get an average gamer, right, whether it's online or mobile, to actually want to pay for your game? I mean, Karim shared about, it's mostly from the top 50 publishers that you see on the charts, but some local perspective from you. How does that work?
Well, in terms of monetization, it's an in-game kind of thing. So the game need to design to be somehow that endure user or players to pay for it. So I guess in this model, Chinese developer has very aggressive model. They use VIP. If you become a VIP model, you have a better chance to win over the game or have a higher rank. They just copycat from how QQ coming up with a VIP model. So they have the level of VIP model. That's a part of monetization. But the role of MOL is not about that. So what we bring to the user is we bring the payment where it's value for the money, easy to use, convenient to find, and secure. So that's what we did. So that's the reason why instead of just introducing payment option, we provide like 360 degree. Doesn't matter where you are, you can pay to mobile phone because we have carrier billing as well. We work well with Aseta as well. We have a prepaid card, distributing to physical store or even online store. Okay, cyber cafe. We have sales through kiosks, online banking. So you can see that we are just like, let's say 5 minutes away from gamers. That's convenient that we bring to the user. And then we're coming up with a better user experience to make it more easier. That's the term that we're using. And ML always coming up with a promotion. That's how we connect and create the relationship between game developer and monetization partner and gamers. Yeah.
There's also this, the latest trend. People are all talking about esports. Of course, today we're talking about payment. But it seems that there's a lot of hype on esports being an online game, and then now you're seeing a lot of titles like Mobile Legends and all on your mobile. And you're seeing a lot of these esports events coming up. Now, Karim, I see some developments between Axiata and going into the esports segment, people using the smartphones. Do you feel it is a challenge to get mobile phone users with smartphones to actually want to pay more? Do you see a lot of pickup here on esports and also
I think at the moment the operators or where we are, esports is most like a sponsorship thing. They sponsor the events and that's about it. But I think esports is more than that. I think it's a market where, and I was saying that it's more like we are waking up to what's happening in the world. Right now, all you get from us basically is a plan, minutes, data bytes, that's it. And that's it, all you care about. But we're trying to say that but we have reached to virtually, 30 million subscriptions in this country. Maybe about around maybe 15 or maybe 20 million actual human beings actually using the phone. And we have direct reach with them. And we can actually make them able to what they call it, we can market to them, we can sell to them, we can actually reach out to them for something they want. Esports, we're thinking about it, and I don't know how we're going to go, but esports is more than just playing. It's also the what they call it, the watching it. Basically, it's more entertainment. How you can help people able to view the games, get involved, and talk to others. It's most like basically it's not about playing. It's about watching it like a football game, and that's basically it's more like real sports games. And we want to move in that direction. How we're going to, but I don't think it's about paying for the game. It's how, as a technology, the mobile data, we can support this esports. We have really actually not really moved into it at the moment. We're seeing it, and I think it's something that we want to go into. But right now, we just focus on payments at the moment, and make sure it's easy for people to buy stuff. Okay, especially those who are called unbanked, people who got no banking account. And once they can do that, then we can start moving towards other things, and even to the merchandising as well. Because mobile money is now starting to grow, especially China and all that. You can see that people are using more money to make physical payments, and I think that's one thing that's the future for us as well.
Okay. I just want to comment on a regulation that happened actually middle of this year in Malaysia. So as you know, the central bank forced all banks to convert the debit cards into Visa, MasterCard enabled, right? And if you talk about credit cards in this region, it's one of the lowest. Philippines, there's less than 5%. Malaysia hovering about 15 to 20%. And a lot of us here are quite reluctant to use credit cards as compared to, say, when you're in Europe or in the US. Do you see this an alternative payment channel, especially using your debit card? I don't know if you can classify that as credit cards because it's debit cards, and a lot of us here have bank accounts tied to the ATM cards. And having this policy middle of the year, do you see more transactions coming from these debit cards translating as a payment for some of these games? Any of you have experience on that?
I can give you an answer there, no.
Okay.
Because I think the future is what they call it stored value.
Okay.
More money. I'll give you an example. WeChat.
Yeah.
Now they have shown us the way, and everybody's wow, they can pay everything using a stored value card. Simple and easy. You don't have to have a bank account, right? You don't. Basically, you can send money to each other and things like that. So the world is as this part of the world, we are looking at that as as real alternative payment method for both best for physical retail market, moving towards the similar for online as well. So stored value, I think is something that I think is more viable, because you can only, if security is an issue, the most that you can lose is whatever you stored. When you have a debit card, you can lose your whole bank account, and that's, I think, security. I think people are a bit wary about it.
How about you, Johnson?
Okay, you see, for gamers, out of 100%, I think maybe less than 1% of gamers who really pay money to play the games. You know, most of them, they enjoy on the free games. They don't mind to wait for times to build your weapons, your whatever is that. So payment gateway just come in to serve for the gamers of the alternative way of easy to buy certain weapons or gems, you see. So in terms of the new regulations for debit cards, I think not only on that, because coming up in Malaysia, I think Alipay is getting famous. There are more and more options into different payment channel for the games industry, and they are more and more easier for gamers to buy anything through their mobile phones. So therefore, somehow I think it will help. It will help on the flow of the payment flow for the gamers who really want to buy games. But the most important thing to improve on the revenue itself still pretty much depends on the games itself, whether it's that attractive, and at the same time, anyone will help you to push the games. So I think these are the thing. It could be a very good game. I mean, today if you go to Google's or iTunes, there are thousands of games there, but how is the games which is not featured on the few first page are able, to get people to notice it, or to start to play. So there are certain marketing channels that I think you still have to do it.
Okay, I divide this into two categories. One is cash, another one is non-cash. For cash in Southeast Asia, it still contribute around 70 to 90%, depends on what country you're talking about. In Malaysia, it's about 80% cash. For non-cash, I'm talking about card payment, wallet, online banking. For card, there are three categories of cards: credit card, debit card, and prepaid. What's the difference between debit card and prepaid? Because it seems to be the same. Debit card, you need bank account. Prepaid, we don't really need to have bank account. So that's the difference. A lot of people try to coming up with the prepaid model or store value card that Karim mentioned, but it's not really successful because of the hurdle on the regulation. Somehow gamers still need to call to the bank to activate it first before you do it, because it linked directly to bank account, and people worry that they're going to lose the money. So that's the reason why prepaid still be dominant in this region. But the trend is changing because the world is changing. Mobile wallet become more dominant player in the future for sure. That's what we see. That's why MOL coming up with our product, our mobile wallet product called One2Pay. It used to be called MOL Wallet, but now we are rebranding it to One2Pay. So with this new and future of the payment, we're gonna use this wallet to buy, any digital lifestyle services like mobile top-up game or even entertainment content. You can subscribe Spotify, buy into Netflix, iFlix, or whatever. And at the same time, you can shopping online through online commerce as well as the offline. So right now, if we just turn it on, all 7-Eleven, all Starbucks will be except one to pay, for example. So with this one single wallet, actually it will create like digital lifestyle payment experience to the user, and that's going to be the future that we would like to introduce to Malaysia.
Okay, speaking of segmentation of payments, by Axiata, do you see more of these payments being done for games, or do you see a lot for apps as well? Because in this conference we're talking about games. There's a lot of apps out there. They require monetization. Even your average, Grab or Uber, it's an app that needs to be monetized, right? And do you see a lot of these monetization on apps instead of just games?
From a carrier billing perspective, there is some regulation. We're limited to what we can't buy physical goods. You can only use your carrier billing to buy digital goods. And what you can see most, I wouldn't say games, I would say most people are using it for entertainment. Whether it's for music, whether you pay for iFlix, whether you pay for music streaming, video streaming, games. Basically, it's purely entertainment is what people are using carrier billing for. That's basically the big chunk of it. I would say that actually games is there maybe about 1/3 of the whole is games. The rest are other forms of entertainment, where you can video streaming or you can download music streaming, those kind of entertainment. It's still a big chunk in terms of games, but it's not going to be the biggest. Actually games becoming more less and more towards other forms of entertainment.
Again, going back to one of the favorite questions I get asked, what sort of game sells here in Southeast Asia? Do you guys have anything to share in terms of how are these games doing in some of the countries? I heard a lot, like when I was in Vietnam, casino-based games that make like 40% of the market share. I don't even know if that's true, but these are interesting statistics, and I'm sure a lot of us here want to understand, how much does these games make? I know probably some of these are PNC, but today if you look at stats on App Annie, you'll just be able to pull the data on how much these top 50 games are making. Could you share some of your experience, if any, in any of these markets?
Well, it's a very good question, by the way. I would say that each genre has their own character. Casino game is one of the most easiest monetization because people get used to it. If you take a look at studio like Singa, right? They create FarmVille, a lot of game out there, but the most sellable and biggest contribution come from Singapore. But as I mentioned earlier, since the smartphone become really powerful, right now mobile phone can be used to play hardcore games like Mobile Legends, for example. So right now, if you can launch a game, especially hardcore games, to the gamers, it's a lot of chance for you to convert them to be paid user, because hardcore gamer is always paid very big. I mean, the ARPU of a hardcore gamer is bigger than other genre. But don't really worry about if you have like a smaller team, because I used to see 3 people studio, and they make profit like about 10 million baht 20 million baht per year, 3 years in a row. So it depends on what kind of quality of game you are creating. If you create a good game, it's always making money. Don't worry about the engagement, because if you have a good game, people will just tell each other, and only unique people. This game have like only 1,000 people that pay for it, but it make like a really good return. 3 people studio.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I think we're limited of time here. We want to close this off. Karim or Johnson, you have anything to add on?
Okay, let me share a little bit on the games that recently we have to publish with one of the game developers. So the game itself is called Let's Dance. So it's not just a dancing game actually, it's also served into a social purpose, where I think this is getting very interesting, because people are going to games other than playing the games as well, they, to know people, as the social media. So I think games also sometimes it start getting evolved, it changed to some other medium, which get very attractive to a lot of users. So these are the games that, the gamers, the individual gamers can really think about it, So it really helped to move the games to another level, and the response is fantastic. So as I say, there are thousands of games every day, So, but if something you can think of, to be different with others, it will help you out, like Mobile Legends China version. A year is 6.8 billion renminbi revenue. How are they able to get that? So of course the population is big there, but it must be something very attractive to the user. So these are some of the things as a publisher that we can see. Other than games, it serves as a social platform as well.
Karim, anything to add? Everyone keeps mentioning about Mobile Legend here, on mobile. I mean, is this also adding up to your bottom line on operator billing?
Well, in a sense, yeah. Any games out there, it's not our bottom line in a sense. So bottom line for the publishers and everybody else. What I want to say is that in terms of going forward, payment is going to be a lot easier and better. And because currently still you have some restrictions and people are trying to find certain games, they can't play with it or it's too expensive. But going forward, I can assure that we're changing the way people are paying online. And it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be, whereby you don't have to worry about, this payment can only pay for this game, this one can pay for that game. We're trying to move the point where you can pay for anything with a single account. I think going forward, that is going to change the way payment for games is going to be.
Okay, all right. Thank you for all your comments and your time here. I think we want to move this to the question and answer. No? We are out of time. Okay, all right. Probably one question.
One question? All right, sir. We'll take one question.
I was wondering on all the three panels, what's your opinion on the payment behavior is going to be like, and 5 years down the road, will you guys be adopting cryptocurrency? Personal opinion.
Say that again. Adopt what? What's the last?
Cryptocurrency.
Oh, cryptocurrency, yeah. Any comments on cryptocurrency being a new payment channel?
Well, it depends on how regulator will just, I think cryptocurrency is a great innovation, and if it's not so difficult to track, so that we need what we need to remember, that we need to fight against the anti-money laundering. We need to prevent it. So I think most of the regulators have a big concern on this. That's why they reluctant to promote this, but sooner or later it will be there. I would say that blockchain will be the technology that a lot of industry will adopt it and make use of it, and cryptocurrency would be one of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so, especially now Bitcoin going up so fast. So, but of course it's not in China, so it will be difficult. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. I think
Thank you very
wrap that up.
much.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you, Johari, for that session. And the reason we had to really stick to time is